Small wall touch-ups can be one of the most annoying DIY projects around the house. At least that's the way it was for me in my own house and my rental properties. I just had a small wall repair like these nail pops behind me, and now I need to match the color and get things blended in as best as possible without actually repainting the entire wall. So I want to run you through a few things that hopefully will make your own project easier. First, how do we color match and get the right sheen? Second, do we use a paintbrush, a wall roller, or how do we get that texture to blend in the best as possible with the existing wall and paint that's already there? And then finally, I'll finish on the actual results here that I got on my own wall touch-ups. So let's jump into it. Now don't forget, when we're talking about matching the paint, it is not only color, it's also the sheen. And if you want to have a reference, it would be great to have the original bucket of paint that was used to paint your walls. Now if you just purchased your home, don't forget to check in the garage, in the attic, in the basement, and see if you can find a bucket of paint and then open that up to see, is that the color that went on your walls? Now just understand, you might find a bucket of paint that is actually used for your bathroom. It's the same color, but that might be a little glossier sheen than what was used on your walls. So you're just gonna have to dive in and check out, but it is best if you can find a paint can that was used for your walls, so you know, is it Valspar from Lowe's, is it Behr from Home Depot, is it Sherwin-Williams, is it Porter or Pittsburgh Paint from Pittsburgh Paint? That will give you one step ahead when you're trying to match this up. If you don't find a paint can, no problem. I would recommend going to Sherwin-Williams. I've had the best luck with Sherwin-Williams in my area in terms of knowledgeable people to help you out behind the desk, and their hours of operation are almost as good as like a Lowe's or Home Depot. Now your option number one, if you do not know what paint went on, would be to paint match. What you would need for that is you actually do need a sample from your wall. Now some people are cutting out the paper from their wall, but just know you're gonna have to patch that up, and I don't necessarily recommend that, at least in an obvious area. You could remove a piece of trim if there's paint behind the trim, or possibly even a large wall plate on an outlet or a light switch. Cut out a piece from there to get the piece you need to take down to Sherwin-Williams to color match, and then you can cover that back up so you don't have to do more patchwork later on. Just know when you paint match, you need at least a dime size sample for them to match it on their color match machine, because the color match machine is going to have a lens, and the minimum is a dime size, preferably a nickel size, and even better a quarter size sample for them to get the best results matching. So option number two, if getting a sample is not an option, is you could go down to Sherwin-Williams and get a complete deck. They usually will give this to you, or at least loan it out to you, and you're going to have all the different colors that they offer. And let me show you how we use this here and see what color we would pick for this wall. So we have the full deck here. Now the deck is broken out into sections. So you have the color section, not going to be using that for this project. We have the neutral section, and then we have a white pastel section, a timeless section, historic section. So we're not going to do historic or timeless. Wall colors usually would be in the neutrals or the whites. I'm going to stick to the neutrals on this one. So then I'm just going to start fanning out the deck and starting to narrow in. We'll go over to the greens and then blues. I'm pretty much a light gray, so no greens, no blues, no purples. I want to really get to that gray section, so I'm going to keep narrowing down where I think I'm at here. All right, so I'm kind of within this space here. Now we're really starting to narrow in on these four options. I don't think it's the popular gray. I don't think it's the world gray. And if I had to select between those two, you guys let me know in the comments, which one do you think that best matches this wall color? Would it be repose gray or agreeable gray? I'm gonna go with the repose gray, and that is the one that I would go with. So now that you have your color, don't forget sheen is a major factor to matching things up as well. When it comes to wall surfaces in living spaces, so spaces that should not be that wet, you're usually looking at possibly a flat paint. That'd be a little chalkier paint. It would not be glossy when you look down the wall. It would not be reflecting the light. If it got smudge marks or dirt on the wall, it'd be hard to wipe off. That'd be in your flat category. Usually, personally, I only use flat white paint on ceilings. I don't use them on walls. I usually go up one from flat. In this case, I'd be going with a satin finish. It does reflect a little bit of light when I look down the wall, but it's really not too much. When you get into like eggshell, that's possibly more your kitchens and your bathrooms. And just know, depending on the brand of paint, the labels that they have for the range of sheens going from flat to possibly gloss or semi-gloss can vary. They can have different levels. They can maybe have 5 levels or 4 levels. That will change depending on the brand of paint that you're going with. Specifically for this type of paint, which is a duration paint from Sherwin-Williams, this would be a satin finish, and that is one up from the flat finish. And then it should be noted for doors and trim, usually you're doing a semi-gloss, possibly a gloss, that gives it a little bit more durability and then increases that wipeability that you can kind of wipe off any smudge, dirt, handprints over time, as those are high traffic areas and they get bumped into often. Now it's very common that I'd either use a 3/8 of an inch snap roller to try to get an orange peel finish matching the wall's texture, or dab it on with a 2-inch putty brush. And then once I get everything where I want it, I use common tools like this comb to clean out that water-based latex paint. These are all great tools or supplies that you can get for your DIY projects. In the link below this video, you'll see our Amazon store, and these exact products you'll find in the painting section, along with all the other sections, which will give you my recommendations for DIYers. But today, at least initially, I want to see if we can do this with just using a crumpled up paper towel. Now I'm just using the lid. That's all the paint I will need. So it makes it really easy to dab the paper towel on the lid, get a little paint, and then start to blend in the texture, trying to match the orange peel you see on the right hand side, which was originally made from the roller. If this works, it would be great and save us a little time. So all done, the paper towel worked great, but I actually did 3 different examples, all repose gray, so you can see the colors matched, but then we have a flat sheen, a matte sheen, and over here a satin sheen, and those are kind of broken out into a pie chart with 3 equal sections. From here, you can tell a little bit of a difference, but let's get a little different angle and you'll see the drastic difference. So showing the sunlight reflecting off the wall, now you can really see the difference with the flat, matte, and satin. Matte and satin have much more of a sheen and would really stand out when you can see the sunlight reflecting off the wall. Now, although the flat is not perfect, that is by far the one I'm going to be going with. And this should kind of level your expectations. When we touch up a wall, it is not going to be perfect. The only way to really get it where no one will notice is to paint the entire wall. And specifically, in this case, this is a massive wall. So at least for right now, we won't be repainting the entire wall. I'm just going to complete that circle with the flat. I would say the paper towel is a success for sure, especially for your touch-ups. It was pretty good at giving me a small texture to match up that orange peel texture that you get from when you roll paint on a wall. Now my color is spot on, but at just the right angle, you can see the difference between the touch-up and the original wall surface. This wall was painted about 3.5 years ago, and it's simply not possible to get an exact match when you're doing touch-ups. So it's good to have that expectation going in. If you want an exact match, let's go ahead and match our color like this, get your sheen as close as possible, and then just expect to paint the entire wall surface to get something where no one's going to be able to notice it. Now this question was submitted from one of our viewers, and it's one of 3 questions that I answer per week. Check out this video right here. You'll get the other 2 questions and answers for this week, in addition to showing you the new Everyday Home Repairs Help channel, where all these questions and answers will live going forward. So thanks for joining me on this video, and we'll see you over there on the new channel.